Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, we're going to talk to you today about a set of Uniden Model 1235-2 GMRSs. Now, these also have FRS channels as well. Now, if you live in Canada, you don't have to have a license to operate these things on any of the channels, whereas in the US and probably some other countries, you actually do have to have a license for the GMRS channels, just not the FRS channels. Anyways, these are like little walkie-talkie guys, and they're quite neat. They're very small in size. They do come with batteries for each unit. Each unit uses 3 AAA batteries, and they're alkaline batteries that are being used in them. Now, just to get a few things out of the way first, if you were to use rechargeables, you are going to lose power output, range, and you're going to definitely exhaust the batteries that much quicker because rechargeable battery cells, they run at 1.2 volts, so times that by 3 in each unit. You're looking at 3.6 volts per unit. So you're not going to run the unit at full power capabilities. Whereas when you run alkaline batteries, they're at 1.5 volts each, times 3 per unit. That's 4.5 volts per unit. So you're getting full power to the system. You're also not going to kill the batteries as quickly on the alkalines as you would on the rechargeables. I actually personally prefer alkaline batteries because even though you do lose power as you know time goes on after using them consistently, the advantage is that they will run longer than the rechargeable will. Now, yeah, you got to buy new batteries when they're dead, or pretty close to dead, especially if you want that full range back again. But you can get a lot of talk time before you start losing enough power that it degrades your signal too much. Now, all these units, GMRS, FRS, they're all line of sight. So the more obstacles in your way, the less range you're going to get. The rating is up to 25 kilometers or 12 miles, basically, or up to 50 kilometers, up to 60 kilometers, depending on the units you buy. Now, let's go through these a little bit, and let's go through good points, bad points, and features. Okay, now, first of all, these are 100% all plastic, okay, and it's hard plastic, including the antenna, so it's not flexible. So a drawback to this would be if it's on your belt clip and you happen to sit down and it's in the wrong kind of a positioning on your belt to your waist, you could actually knock the unit off your belt and may not realize it, okay, or you may realize it, just depends. They do have a very cheap belt clip. It does have a fair amount of gap distance here. I kind of wish it was like really tight in, because then it would create a better lockup on the belt. And it's going to be a more narrower belt that's going to be more suitable than a wider belt, for instance. Getting these clips off, you do have to remove the back clip for the belt in order to get at the battery compartment, okay, which is back in here. And there's some little knurled ribbing type stuff on here. So you just push down on that, and then you can pop the back cover off, and it just slides off, and there's your batteries. Okay, and it uses the 3. Now, the price of these units, just a little sidetrack, we paid under $20 for the set at Canadian Tire. They're on clearance sale. They're normally $40. Under 20 bucks, I wasn't going to complain. There are 22 channels, most of which are on the GMRS frequencies, and a couple on the FRS frequencies. Now, first of all, you push to hold on the power button to turn the unit on. Your call button, you just touch it once, it'll call the other unit, or anyone's unit actually on the same channel. And going back the other way. Okay, now changing your channels is as simple as up button, down button. Volume's the same way, up or down. Okay, and it goes up as high as 7, which is full volume. Now, if you don't lock the system, you could accidentally change channels or change volume. So they put in a little feature for that. You push and hold the call button for a few seconds till you hear that noise, and you'll get an L show up. That is going to prevent you from changing channels accidentally or your volumes. So that's actually a really nice feature to have. Because in the higher end units, you automatically get that feature preset, basically. You got to push and hold, and then you can change channels. With this, you can just change channels and not lock it, or you can push and hold on the call button to lock it so that you you stay on that channel at that volume level. Another feature that's quite nice on these is the scan feature. You push and hold on the channel button for about 3 seconds roughly, and then you'll hear the silence and it keeps scanning. That allows you to do continuous scanning of all channels. Okay, so when somebody does talk on a channel, it'll automatically stop there, and you could actually talk to that person or hear the conversations going on, whatever. Okay, push again real quick, and it takes the scan mode off, and then you can just change channels manually on your own where you want them. You want to lock it on channel 19, push and hold the call, and it's locked. And if you try to change it, the L will come up and tell you that it's locked. So you can't change the channels accidentally. Now, other features on this thing that are quite nice is it is very compact, very small. So you could even put it in like a different kind of a pouch too, so keep it more secure on your waist. Other drawbacks to these units in this price range is they're not water resistant or waterproof by any means. If you get these things wet, you will wreck them. Okay, so you got to keep them in a dry place at all times. So if you're out in the bush and it happens to be raining, I'm sure you could probably use it for a few, without a big hassle. If you were to, say, cover the unit like this and talk to the person, get it back into your jacket after. Okay, I mean, that's not a big deal, but they're not waterproof or water resistant. So, don't expect to be able to lose this in the lake and get it back a few months later and have it still work like higher end units would. Very simple push to talk system, too easy. Battery indicator tells you how much battery power you have left. Right now, both of these units actually have full power left according to the gauges, but I know for a fact that it's a bit of a falsehood, because I know that my particular unit, we've used these enough times and we run them all day long when one's in the shop and one's in the house. They never get turned off, and we do talk on them. But we recover battery power because as batteries heat up from being used, you lose power, but you can gain a lot of that power back again, or some of it at least, once the units have cooled down, once the batteries have cooled down. Because anytime you use a battery operated device continuously, the batteries warm up because they're being exhausted. The power is being drawn from them, and heat is what actually kills batteries quicker than anything else. But anyway, battery performance so far is very, very good on these things. I'm very impressed with them, and like I said, we're still on the original set of batteries that came with them. Haven't bought any spares yet, and we've had these for a couple of weeks now anyways, and we've used them several times. Now, as far as the range thing goes on these things, just going to turn these off. As far as the range goes, like I said, they're rated for up to 25 kilometers or 12 miles. Now, that is dependent on obstacles. So anyway, what I did for our first distance test is I went off on my dirt bike with my helmet on, of course, had my channel volume set at 5, and I went up the road about half, 3/4 of a mile. And anyhow, I stopped. I was still on my bike, engines running, helmets on the head, and I was talking to my wife. She was at the house inside. So she has the obstacle of the house and the electrical system in the house and the house next to us, as well as she's got to, make it through all the trees and everything else and up the hill more, because she would be on the lower downslope. We live basically on the side of the mountain, right? Anyhow, crystal clear reception was great. It was perfect. Couldn't ask for better. Even with my engine running on my dirt bike, I could still hear her. Not hassle-free, okay? Second test we did for distance was actually a more truer test because we wanted to test the longer range of these. And so she takes off in the car. I'm outside in the driveway, so I'm at least outdoors. Now, she got to the M&R, which is about a kilometer away, or a little over a kilometer from the house. And we're still doing great. No problems, no hassles. As soon as she got to the old Mike Smart store, which is about another, 3,000-4,000 feet away from the M&R, so, close to a mile, that's when we lost each other. Broke up too much, couldn't even understand each other, and then just nothing. Okay, so too many obstacles in the way, too many problems. So when you're using these things, just be aware that obstacles are going to affect your range. It's not the units, it's the fact they're line of sight, and that's just the way these things happen to work. And so if you're out in the lake, for instance, you would probably get up to 25 clicks or up to 60 clicks, depending on your units, right, and what they're rated for. When you're out in the desert, it would be the same thing, or out in sand pits, or out anywhere in the full open where there's no real obstructions in your way. You're going to get the maximum potential out of these units. If you're doing a road trip with friends, you each have a unit in your cars. I mean, you're going to have obstacles with other cars, so your range will then again be limited again to a degree. So they do work great, and the FRS channels are your lower powered channels. So if you want to get the best bang for your buck out of the distance, you need to use the GMRS channels. Now your instruction manuals are going to tell you exactly what channels are GMRS and what are FRS. So anyways, but for our actual purposes for this particular set, was just between the house and the shop, because our cordless phones have intercoms. We were using those. They were great, but then it kills off the battery too much, because sometimes, when we talk to each other, we tend to chat a little too long, and one of us loses the battery power, which kind of sucks, because that's one less phone in usage in the house, but then we can't communicate for the rest of the day because the other thing's recharging. And we can't receive phone calls when we're using the intercoms on the telephones. So we decided we needed something a little bit better, and to also free up the phone completely. So these were our solution, and they're regular, like I said, about $40. We got them for under $20 for the set because they're on clearance right now at Canadian Tire. I think they still are. I'd have to actually go back up and check, because I'm thinking I might want to pick up another set or two, just to have them around. Because they are handy, and for the price, hey, you can't knock it, right? Because if they ever do die out, I mean, they come with a 1-year warranty, which is good. But I mean, for under $20, I am not going to spend $20 on shipping to ship them out to Uniden. Okay, I'd rather just throw them out and buy another set for under $20. So I might actually get a couple extra sets and just keep them hanging up somewhere. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. Higher end units will be water resistant and or waterproof, better belt clips, etc., etc. A lot of them will actually be rechargeable only. Some will be rechargeable with alkaline capability for backup, etc. So you got to kind of pick and choose what you're going to want for this type of a system, and your purposes will decide how much you're going to actually have to spend out on getting a set of these. Now, whether it be Uniden, Motorola, it doesn't matter. There's many different makes and versions out there, different wattage levels in each type of set, which is based upon its range and so on. But just be aware, like I said, they are an up to rating. It is not solid written in gold that you're going to get 12 miles or 30 miles or whatever, or if you transfer that to kilometers, 25 or 60 or 70 clicks. It is dependent on obstacles in your way. Because a lot of people, I've read reviews, and they're really pissed off because they say, well, I used these and I couldn't even get 2 miles away and they're totally useless. It's like, did you even read the instructions where it says up to 25 kilometers? Or up to 50 kilometers, and that is dependent on, okay, and do some research. They are line of sight, okay. When the first wireless networks came out for computers, it was all line of sight only. Now the stuff is like just all over the place, so it's great because I can take my laptop out and I can actually go in the bush and use it in there, within the limits of my router, okay, my wireless router. Because where we live, it's all bush, right? So, I mean, if I wanted to, I could do that. I take my laptop out to my shop. I got a wireless network. I'm fine. I can use it, and I love it because I don't have to be within line of sight of that router, which is really good. So I like that. But these are a line of sight issue where, you don't have to be directly in line. I mean, you can be off by, a bunch of degrees. But you have to be within a reasonable line of sight of the unit, with as little obstacles as possible to get the full amount of range that the units are capable up to. So that's something to be aware of. Also with rechargeable systems like we were talking about, I believe I mentioned a rechargeable AA cell or AAA cell. They run at 1.5 volts on the alkalines, and rechargeables run at 1.2. So if your unit uses 3 batteries like this, that's 3.6 or 4.5 on the alkalines. So your alkaline is your better way to go, so your unit actually runs full potential. But anyways, I thought I'd share this with you and give you a review. We've had enough time to use them a lot, to figure out all the features and stuff for what we're going to use them for. And they are great little units. So if this is all you need, then hey, you know, for under 20 bucks right now, if they're still on clearance, great. Otherwise, I think they're like regular 40 bucks a Canadian Tire. They could be like cheaper elsewhere. I've seen them cheaper online, even in the States. I mean, you can pick up a set of these for like 23 bucks or something in the States. So, you know, plus shipping. So, you know, you got to kind of pick and choose if you're going to, you know, order something like that online that's this cheap. I would actually order the more expensive units and have them shipped. So anyhow, that's about it, and thanks for checking out the video, and hope you learned a lot, and hope you enjoyed the review. And you know, if this is your choice for this model, fine. If not, hey, you know, there are other models out there, and you know, and I've tried to give you more information on other things to look for, even in the higher end models. You know, and take care, and we'll see you again.